Welcome back to Story Time. Today I have another book for you. This one is called When Pigasso Met Mootisse. This story is about two artists who are very different, who after a while get to know each other and their friendship kind of develops into something they wouldn't never have expected. This book is written and illustrated by Nina Laden. Let's check it out. When Pigasso Met Mootisse. There was once a young pig named Pigasso. While the other piglets rolled in the mud and played games, Pigasso painted. He painted anything and everything in a most unusual way. He liked to paint a lot of portraits of people and change their faces up a bit. At the same time, there was once a young bull named Mootisse. Mootisse was not like the other bulls. He wasn't interested in bullfighting. Mootisse was happy only when he painted pictures. And he painted big, bold, bright pictures or paintings. This one's the cow laying down. Moo-hoo-hoo.
In time, word of Pigasso's talent spread throughout the pig provinces. Soon, art-loving pigs from all over lined up to buy his creations. Wow, that's cool. Yes, indeed. At the same time, Mootisse was getting famous in the cattle community. There weren't many households that didn't own a masterpiece.
Pigasso and Mootisse were becoming art superstars. Everyone was flocking over them. But this came with a price. Everybody wanted to see them. Art buyers, art sellers, art students, art historians, even art groupies. What? It was an art attack. Oh man. One day, Pigasso got fed up and said, "I'm tired of this noisy pig pen." At the same time, Mootisse declared, "I'm sick of this crowded cow town." Needing a change, they both decided to look for a peaceful place where they could paint without any distractions. I like that idea.
So each of the two artists looked far and wide for the perfect spot. Pigasso found a lovely farm looking towards the east. Mootisse found a handsome farm facing the west. After Pigasso moved in, he went to introduce himself to his new neighbor across the road. At the same time, Mootisse went to introduce himself to his new neighbor across the road. That is how Pigasso met Mootisse, and coincidentally, that is how Mootisse met Pigasso.
At first, Pigasso and Mootisse got along. They were friendly. And they welcomed each other as neighbors. But soon, things began to change. It started one day when Pigasso criticized one of Mootisse's paintings. Then Mootisse made fun of one of Pigasso's. Mootisse called Pigasso an art hog. Then Pigasso called Mootisse a mad cow. Woo! Mootisse quipped, "You paint like a 2-year-old. Pigasso retorted, "You paint like a wild beast." Oh man, these guys are going crazy. Mootisse raged, "Your colors look like mud." Pigasso spat, "You paintings look like color by numbers." Then things got really out of hand.
It was a modern art mess.
Pigasso stormed off to his house. That Mootisse doesn't like my art. Well, I'll show him. And Mootisse bullied his way into the house. I'll give that Pigasso something he can criticize. Then a full-scale feud erupted. But it was most unusual. It was a most unusual battle. It really was. Armed with ladders and buckets of paint, Mootisse launched the first attack. He started at dawn. By the end of the evening, he had succeeded in transforming the outside of his house into a monster-sized masterpiece. Very nice, don't you think? Not to be outdone, Pigasso fired up his paintbrushes and in full view of the enemy, counterattacked. He turned his farm into a huge and outrageous pork of art. That's right, pork of art. The two artists then retreated into their houses and pulled down the shades. Pigasso certainly didn't want to look out his window and stare at a Mootisse. Never. And Mootisse had no desire to give his room a view of a Pigasso. No way. This presented a problem. And there seemed to be only one solution. What were these guys gonna do? These crazy artists. Without a word to each other, Pigasso and Mootisse each began to build a huge wooden fence down the middle of the road that separated their house. They were going at it. At first, Pigasso and Mootisse seemed satisfied. Yes, very good. Both artists went back to painting by themselves. But after a while, Pigasso was surprised to find that he missed his bull-headed friend Mootisse. At the same time, Mootisse found his studio empty without the presence of the pig-headed Pigasso. Pigasso pondered, that Mootisse isn't such a bad artist. He has some interesting ideas. Mootisse moaned. That Pigasso may not paint like me, but he knows what he's doing.
However, being naturally pig-headed and bull-headed, neither artist knew how to apologize. So they did what they do best. They let their paintbrushes do the talking. Picasso painted on one side of the fence and Mootisse painted on the other. Each worked until they were exhausted. It was strangely quiet until they were done.
Then, curious to see what Mootisse had been doing, Pigasso sprinted out around to the other side of the fence. At the same time, Mootisse galloped over to Pigasso's side. The silence was broken as the two artists began laughing at the amazing work of art. Oh man, I can't believe this guy. I can't believe him either. Oh man. This guy, that guy, oh man.
From that day on, Pigasso and Mootisse became great friends. They happily took down the fence and shared their different views. A few months later, a big museum bought the fence. Pigasso called his side when Pigasso met Mootisse. Mootisse called his side when Mootisse met Pigasso. The critics called it incredible. The end.
Now that was a great story. Two artists who didn't really like each other's styles became best friends. Now that's a great ending. Hope you enjoyed this edition of Storytime. Thanks again for stopping by. Bye.